Hi guys, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we almost have 60 Warframes in the roster right now, and while I was looking on all of them, two Warframes stood out for me. This OG Warframe took years before finally getting the spotlight that they deserve, but I'm just glad right now that the community are enjoying them. Not just enjoying, but also using the Warframes when it comes to farming stuff in the game. Now, the first Warframe that I want to feature on this video is Titania. Scanning through the patch history of the game, the first major change that benefit Titania was when Digital Extremes decided that unique ability-driven exalted weapons can now be modded separately. It was a good change, but it wasn't really that game-changing as Titania started to get more recognition on dealing good damage with her exalted when the galvanized mods were introduced in the game. There was also a change that caused a lot of drama in the Warframe community, and that is when the developers decided to introduce the Warframe disable augments. If my memory serves me well, it was during the addition of Kuva Leech system when Digital Extremes added a hotfix that introduced the Ironclad Flight augment that disables vacuum but gives Titania 40% airborne damage reduction. The augment was good back then as it disables vacuuming energy orbs when you are at max energy. This way, you can maintain Titania's Razor Wing ability as you have the choice to pick up energy orbs when you want. It just caused a lot of drama because the content creator who advocated this change was one of the most hated back then, and there was lots of toxicity surrounding the guy that people just dislike every idea he throws in the game. Nonetheless, it was a good change to be honest, and we are still taking advantage of it up to this day, especially while running Titania in endurance runs. The rest of the changes were just minor tweaks on Titania's stats and some quality of life changes to her abilities. Again, these are just minor tweaks and not like Wukong, Hydroid, or even Inaros that got a complete overhaul on their kit. However, these minor changes proved to be more beneficial to the Warframe compared to the other Warframes that got a complete overhaul. And when the Helmin system was introduced, Titania blew up and became one of the best farming Warframe in the game. So the Helmin system was the missing piece to Titania, and when players discovered the effectiveness of subsuming thermal sunder into the Warframe, Titania became a fan favorite. The Warframe already have insane mobility, and it got more ridiculous when Titania received the Razor Wing Blitz augment. In addition, she also has good killing power, and while her melee still sucks, Titania's Dex Pixiac can melt steel pot enemies now with the galvanized mods. The only thing that was missing with the Warframe is purpose, and Thermal Sunder has given this and made Titania one of the best, if not the best, Void Fisher and Relic Farmer in the game. Nuking and mobility are a lethal combination in this game, and Titania can do this by casting Thermal Sunder while zooming into the map. Although Thermal Sunder, Titania is not steel pot material, the Warframe is still popular because she makes the grind on farming relics and prime parts easy. Not just Void Fisher missions, but you can also farm Orokin Vaults using Titania. Now, the second Warframe that I think deserve more recognition is Frost. If you are a veteran player, then you know how boring Frost gameplay back then. The Warframe literally sits on his bubble and he is just useful in spamming his snow globe to protect Mesa players back then while farming defense Void Fisher missions. He got better when Digital Extremes added the Icy Avalanche augment that grants the Warframe Ice armor. This is when players feel confident moving out of the snow globe as the Warframe got an extra protection with the crowd control and extra layer of health that the fourth ability gives. Then, it took years before the Warframe got another significant update, but it's not even a direct rework. It was during the Overguard mechanic and most recent status changes that made Frost a versatile Warframe in the game. The Overguard mechanic did not change how Ice armor works, as the protection from Ice Avalanche is the same and it just provides extra life and status immunity. However, it was a massive win for Frost players when Digital Extremes also added a change that makes on-damage mods and arcanes to apply to Overguard. Back then, Icy Avalanche would make the player invulnerable and on-damage effects don't work. Right now, mods and arcanes like Adaptation and Arcane Avenger can now be triggered when damage is taken to Overguard because it is treated similarly to health and shields. And then came the status changes which made cold an overpowered element in the game. The status effect of cold damage can now freeze enemies, and it lasts 6 seconds and stacks to a maximum of 10 times, with each stack having its own duration. Any stacks that applied after the 9th will replace the oldest stack. The target's movement, fire rate, and attack speed is reduced by 50%, and subsequent procs adds 5% slow up to a maximum of 90%. Also, the affected enemies will receive a maximum of 0.5 critical damage multiplier at 9 stacks. The damage increase is additive after mods and applies before crit tier is calculated, but does not apply to area of effect damage. The critical multiplier is not that big, but it somehow gets you an extra boost in damage, especially if you are using the Biting Frost augment for the Warframe. The best thing is the cold mechanic is actually working as how it should be for Frost right now. In fact, a Frost without any subsume ability is still good, even if played in steel pot levels. The Warframe is so good with the Overguard mechanic, and as well as the wide crowd control that Avalanche gives. And you'll even enjoy the Warframe with Biting Frost that deals more critical hits to frozen enemies. By the way, if you are asking why I put Archon Stretch in my build when I don't have any electric abilities to trigger it, the simple answer to that is that this mod actually works with some of your companion abilities. If you're using Diriga Sentinel, then you can trigger it with its Arc Coil mod preset, and if you are using the Robotic Hound, then you can activate its effect using the Synergize Prospectus mod. This is a free energy regeneration for Frost and helps you maintain your energy with Arcane Energize. Both Frost and Titania are insanely good right now. One is great in farming and the other is a very versatile Warframe. I strongly recommend that if you are a new player, then go try out these Warframes if you have the resources to craft the vanilla variant or get the prime version of the two Warframes. So that's all about it. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Before leaving, I humbly ask for your support again by simply liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next guide. Squad Leader signing off.